Good afternoon. How is everyone doing? Woo! Great. I have to do this because it's after lunch and I hear people get sleepy after lunch, so let's do that again. I am super excited to be moderating this panel. One, because if I didn't choose to be an accountant, I would be in tech. And two, because I'm going to be speaking to two amazing women, Melinda and Kate, so that's just a bonus. My name is Ramona Cedeno. I am a CPA. I became a CPA 10 years after graduating from Baruch, after having my son when he was 7. And all that time that I wasn't a CPA, I felt like I was missing something. And I said, I had to do this. Took the exam and passed. I am also a certified financial planner. And 4 years ago, I started my own firm, Fiber Financial Services. And one of the things that I love about working for myself and with my team, of course, is that we get to work with amazing founders of tech and other innovative companies. And when I was invited to moderate this panel, I was like, this is right up my alley. So this is great. Thank you for the invitation. I'm also, I have 2 boys, 19 and 9, a brother who is 20, lives with me, and a husband who is around 50, and it's all boys in the house. So I welcome the opportunity to be with all of you here. So talk to me after. Thank you, Melinda. And as I was doing my due diligence and learning about these amazing women, I like the fact that what you say you do, you have been doing for a long time. So it's not something that you just added to your company the last 2 years. This is like over the last 7-10 years, it was the boards that you were on, the companies that you worked for, all had a component of inclusion, diversity, and helping the underrepresented groups.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
We promote them more often. And how about we pay them?
Thank you, Kate. And yes, I'm a member of Luminary. And the one thing I remember, and I have a low-tier membership because I have an office somewhere else. And I go to Luminary because of the network and the community. But the one thing I noticed since I joined was that, Kate, you took the time to say hello and give me a hug. And I was like, why is she doing that to me? Like, I come here once a week and she's so appreciative. And I was like, now I can never leave because she's like, so, it's like, it worked. I was like, how do I tell her that I'm switching one day, after she's been so nice to me? And she's an amazing, you're a great connector. If I say, I'm thinking of doing X, Y, Z, she has the resources. So it works. Whatever you're doing is working for the members that you are working with. So our next question, and this is something that I wanted to know, but I believe the audience might also, is, do you consider yourself a disruptor? And what does that mean to you? And I would like to hear from both of you. And I hope you are a disruptor because we picked you for that reason. So.
There's some pressure. No, I think when you work on diversity and inclusion, you're automatically disrupting, right? Yeah, I mind excuses and put our money where their mouth is.
Yes, and I totally agree with you. And I think that in your case, I know that Luminary is not just a co-working space. This is kind of the avenue for you to raise these issues that you're so passionate about. And she didn't pay me to say any of this, but I'll take a discount.
Your
Okay?
next boardroom is free.
Yes. So I follow, Kate has a lot of videos where you talk about pay equity and inclusion, and I think that it says a lot about what you're doing because you're kind of marrying the two. You have the space for us to go and talk about this, and you actually make it a point to raise these issues.
Absolutely. We all should be making a point.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the same as you, and I know you do this in mentoring and sponsoring. And sponsoring those, underrepresented communities, whether that's women, people of color, everyone that's not that doesn't yet have a seat at the table, and again, showing the numbers and advocating when they're not in the room. And if we don't all do that and pay ourselves, I think that's also a problem, and I think it requires a mind shift and people getting comfortable with the uncomfortable, right?
When I meet clients, sometimes in the evening or at networking events, when I meet someone, they say, it's great that you have your company. How does your husband feel about that? And I'm like, I ask him, why aren't you doing something big with your life? Start a company. That's what I ask him. The question is reversed.
Exactly.
And then, Kate, you probably experienced a lot of those challenges in the financial industry too, right?
Oh, yeah.
How do you see a big difference now that you're a founder versus when you were an employee, a member of another team company?
Yeah, I did absolutely. I think it all depends on the organizations too that you work for and the teams. JP Morgan, I spent 7 years there.
Times 24/7, right?
Yeah.
Melinda, I wanted to ask you about the challenges that women have to enter the tech industry. But I want to add something before you respond, and that is that I have 3 boys in my house. My brother, who is 20, who lives with me, he's getting his degree in IT. My son, who is 19, and then my son, who is 9. And these boys all they're tech. It's like tech is the first thing they think about. My 9-year-old will tell you exactly what you need to do to create a successful YouTube channel. And the other ones all have their own thing. Then I have 2 nieces who live right above me, and no one is telling them not to look at tech, but they don't have the same, they're not drawn to it as much as the boys. So we're not talking about biology here, right? Because that's not, I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but what can we do to change that, to make girls fall in love with tech more so that they can enter the industry in the future?
Yeah, sadly, there are lots of little things that happen far before kids get into college. The kinds of toys that we give them to play with, what's in the media, what movies tell our kids is their career path and is more likely a career path. In education, in higher ed also, there's a huge problem. The number of women earning computer science degrees peaked in 1984 and it's been going down ever since. So there's a real problem in our education systems. It's not an easy thing to solve, but being aware, if we have kids, being aware of helping them see who they can be, whatever that is, but giving them different options, because society isn't necessarily giving them all the right options, all the possible options. So we have to do that, reading them books, giving them books, being aware of the kinds of media that they're consuming, and you might not be able to take away a lot of that media, but you can add to it. And so being aware of how we are acculturating our kids, how we are, what we're telling them without really thinking about telling them who they can be. And then in the education system, it's tough. There's more women that get into computer science to begin with, and then they cycle out before they finish the degree. So encouraging our kids, if they are going into that pathway, to keep going. Helping them, supporting them, maybe giving them coaching, and supporting them along that path, I think is really key. And the confidence, helping them see that they can be whoever they want to be, is really important as well.
Now that you say that, then I do remember, if I think of taking my nieces to the movies, I'll probably take them to see Frozen. And if I take my boys, I'll take them to see Wreck-It Ralph.
Exactly.
Something like that,
right? Right, exactly. It's the little things we don't even think about that we're doing, that we're giving them little cues.
Yes, thank you for that. Kate, I hear rumors, not about you, don't worry. No, that's another conversation. No. That sometimes women find it challenging to work with each other. So at the level, and I haven't experienced that. I love men, of course, and I love women. I love working with both sides, and I never had any issues working with either gender. But I hear that sometimes there are challenges. Women say that they don't find the support from other women. How is Luminary addressing that specific issue, if you are thinking about that?
Well, no, I think it goes to the point I made earlier. I think, you really have to practice what you preach, but you have to apply. For me, that's not a community.
And I think it's important also to educate the boys, right? So the kids.
Yes.
And using my kids as an example, I hope they're not watching. Okay? But my 9-year-old, the other day, he was talking with my niece, and they were presenting an idea to us, to my sisters and I. I'm the oldest of 4 sisters, so it's a lot of girls growing up, now all the boys. I think God was rewarding me. But the other day, my son was talking to my sister. They were presenting an idea, and she was speaking, and he interrupted her. And I said, Sam, you need to wait for Joyce to finish speaking, and I hope you're not doing that, interrupting her because she's a girl. He was like, no, Mom, it's important to, one time I saw an ad that said, we teach boys not to hit, not to fight, but we don't teach them how to treat a woman. And that always stuck to me as I had my kids. So educating both.
But again, women don't need to be fixed. Right. This is when we need to stand up and say, stop interrupting me, and let me finish what I was saying.
Exactly, yes.
Right.
So we need to tell them
that it's okay.
Yes.
My dad always does that. He'll talk over me, and I'm like, Dad, it's enough talking. It's my turn. And he'll say, where did you learn this? I'll say, from you. Like, you told me to be, strong and empowered. And I was, before empowerment was even a big word. I said, I think also you hear this all the time. Women don't speak up at the table. They wait till their turn. Again, push through that. Encourage the women that if you see that happen in a meeting, you talk to them, pull them inside, say, next time, don't let them take credit for your idea. Next time, speak up. You have great ideas. That support and that also that sort of confidence builder sometimes is just a little bit that helps you get through.
That's very good points. Thank you. Kate and Melinda, if you can both weigh in on this, what piece of advice would you give other women who are entering a leadership role, either as entrepreneurs or at a corporate position?
The one thing that has helped me a great deal is having an executive coach.
Mm-hmm. What industry you're in?
Yes, thank you. I try to meditate and I end up in a forest reading my to-do list. That's what I do. In the middle, how did I end up here? I want to, we are in New York, and I just want to comment on something that you both said. We're in New York, and I feel like here you can fix anything. There is a coach or a doctor for everything. So if there is an area where you feel like you are staying behind, like public speaking, which is also something I worked on for the last year, there are classes, there are coaching, there are free resources, anything. If we think there is an area that needs improvement, we can find the place in New York City to fix it. So that's good advice. I want to give the audience the opportunity to ask a couple of questions. I did have like 20 questions for them, but we only have an hour. So thank you so much. Does anyone have questions in the audience? No? Going once, going twice. So if I have another minute, I'm going to ask Kate one question. Yeah. I know your story with how you left your corporate job to start your company. Is there one thing that you wish you had done differently? I didn't answer her.
Well, I don't know. I don't think there's anything that I would have done differently. I'm an executor, so for me, writing the business plan and then 8 months later launching was like such a long time. I didn't realize, I think, that I'd had gigantic companies behind me with infrastructure in the past.